Hello and welcome to my new video. If you're new here, hi, I'm Lex. For today's inspiration video, today's little ideas, we're looking at island layouts, and I wanted to start with this gorgeous winding path island. Here is the plaza, pretty close to the airport, I would say. I am going to be showcasing these island maps because I think that's super important for island layout, and I hope that this helps inspire you on your own journey to figure out how to place your buildings. So obviously you can see this is a very heavily terraformed island. I think this is cool because you can see how the houses are kind of spread out, but they're still in little, I don't know what it's called, little groups. We've got the 3 houses on the left, the 3 on the right, and then the 4 last houses kind of spread out in the middle. I think that this is really well set up. I think the island has a good balance of buildings, you know, all across the island. There are different buildings to be had, almost 1 per square of the island, which is nice. And I think that looking at the map, you can kind of see how the terraforming really serves to fill in the areas where there aren't buildings. So it seems like a very balanced island. We're going to walk around a little bit and see how this creator makes it look on the island. So first off, here are the 3 houses in the bottom left corner of the map. You can kind of see how they're arranged here. They still definitely feel like they have their own little yards and stuff. They're definitely separate houses, but they're arranged in this little neighborhood with terraforming that makes it feel very cohesive and cozy. It definitely feels very natural and sort of locked in over here. It doesn't feel like open or empty at all. It feels nice. It's a little neighborhood. And between the houses and the museum over here is this gorgeous terraforming, these different bridges in use. Just tons of waterscaping and cliffscaping. It just looks so lovely. In spots where there aren't very many buildings around, we have these really cute little areas of filler space where you've got little benches and seating areas. I also love the use of bridges on this island. The creator did not cut any corners with terraforming. The bridges and everything are so beautiful. Then coming here to the back of the island, we have this one house that was kind of separate from the other, but on the other side of this farm situation we have going on is the second villager home here at the back. I also love the different themes we're seeing with decor and everything. This pop of red is so lovely on the island, and as we were passing through, you can kind of see, yeah, here's the roof to the resident representative's house. What I loved about this island is just really making great use of the space. This island feels enormous, and to be honest, it is kind of easy to make your island feel small. So I think it's cool to see islands that use space so well you feel like you could just walk around forever. Here is the resident representative's house in its own little orchard. It just feels so spacious. Nothing feels cramped at all. It just perfectly fits together in a way where it doesn't feel cluttered, but it also doesn't feel barren, you know? It's nice. Here's the neighborhood on the right side of the island, in case you were curious. These houses you can kind of see better when you're walking through. You can see all 3 of the houses, and again, they have their own little yards and everything, so it is a neighborhood, but again, does not feel cramped. And there's plenty of space for big fillers like this lavender farm, which I think is lovely. Here is one last look at this map. I just think this is gorgeously done, and as usual, I will put the creators and their dream addresses in the description, but here you can see the dream address on screen as well if you'd like to tour. Making our way here onto the second island, and definitely when I got here and I can only see the bottom half of the flag, I thought that the island flag itself was like a portrait of the map, and I was like, what the heck? Already seeing some gorgeous decor and terraforming. Let's take a look at this island's map. I chose this one because the map, for obvious reasons, stood out to me. What a grand map design. I love the circle in the middle. I love that there are 2 human residents on the island, so you can see the 2 pink houses here. I think that this shows a very different way to utilize space on your island. The buildings are all pretty compact. They're close to each other. Even the campsite and the museum are kind of, you know, close to one another, and most of the squares on this map are then left to terraforming and land design, which is another completely valid, cool way to use your island. I think it is really cool how the villager houses are surrounding resident services. They're just in like a little crescent moon shape around resident services. The shops are right in front. Everything is very easy to get to here near resident services. So here is one of the houses, and then there's an incline to the left here. And when you just walk through and see all the houses, again, we're seeing houses that can be close together and still have their own unique vibes. These villagers all have their own yards, very clear color theming, which I really love. That is a Great use of space in my opinion. If you are working with smaller areas for your villager homes, a great way to differentiate between yards is to use different colors for them. And it looks stunning. I mean, also gives you the opportunity to use some items you might not otherwise want to use. I think it's really cool to do. And I mean, you can clearly see the different themes with all of these houses. It's easy to explore them all because they are close to each other. It definitely has some pros and cons, you know, con not having as much space perhaps to decorate for your villager. Pros, getting to see them all very easily and visit them, especially if you're doing like gifts and such. And then like I said, the shops are right here at the front of the island, this nook's cranny. Even though it is very close to the beach, it has plenty of space. I'm not feeling like this is a cramped area at all. It's very easy to traverse this island too. All the walkways are pretty wide and easily navigated. But then you have just gorgeous areas like this, which give the creator an opportunity to make cool shapes on the map with pathing, but on the island too, they still look stunning with all these different furniture items at play. Also very neat to see what they've done with the peninsula here, so you can walk through. It's like a little pathway, and then the campsite is sort of tucked away back here. Very small little cove for the campsite. It feels very secret. That's so cool. And then moving up this way again, just some beautiful terraforming, lots of waterscaping. I love diagonal bridges, so you know I'm living for this island. And then a very majestic setup for the museum, surrounded by castle walls here, very grand. And the areas on the island without buildings are still so beautifully decorated, so you get to see, you know, the beautiful design on the map. And as you're walking around, you don't even really think about the island layout so much. You're just kind of appreciating how everything is set up. Again, easy to navigate, to walk around. And here is the super cool little circle shape on the map done with pathing and terraforming. It looks stunning on the map, and in person it's like a little hybrid garden with different seasonal things kind of represented in the items. We have a ton of little natural spaces. I love this one, this rock garden kind of overlooking the back of the island. I don't know, something about it feels so tropical and beautiful, having the rock garden here at the back of the island sort of tucked away. Also space for absolutely beautiful terraforming like this. We've got this bridge overlooking some waterfalls that are stunning. And I think the last big area on the island you're probably curious about would be the sunken pathway to the house. Some gorgeous terraforming that you could see on the map, and then the house is here surrounded by more terraforming. Just a lovely design. Also love that the human here is wearing a Tom Nook shirt. 12 out of 10. But this is a huge terraforming feature on the map, and in person walking around, it looks just as beautiful. I also want to note I haven't been visiting beaches just because I'm focusing on the island layout, which isn't really notable on the map, but the beaches on these islands are also stunningly decorated, so if you visit, give them a try. And here is one last look at this gorgeous map. Just stunning terraforming. Everything looked amazing when you were on the island too. It's just so impressive. On to the next, and this island was actually created by the same island designer who did the last island, so keep that in mind when I show you the map here in a second. I mean, what can I even say? How cool is this map? And again, how different from the previous map. I love to see a creator with, you know, creative flexibility, you could say. This is stunning. I love the layout. I think it's really interesting to see the entire, like, left bottom portion of the island has no buildings. It's entirely designed based on, you know, items and pathing, etc. Whereas the buildings are mostly here on the right side of the island, with the exception, of course, of the campsite and the museum. I think that this setup is really, again, just easy to traverse. The island creator is really good at that, and I can't wait to see how the space on the left is filled. First, of course, we're already over here since I was at the airport. We can check out this stunning village neighborhood, which I also featured in the recent neighborhood ideas video I did. So if you were curious about how this fits into the rest of the island, good for you. Here we are. Again, of course, even though the houses are close together, each house has its own distinctive yard, mostly by color theme, which I think is lovely. Heading up by resident services, you can see this gorgeous terraforming that we could see on the map. It has sort of a petal vibe, like a blossom. Just looks stunning on the map. Here is the resident representative's house, again with some very distinctive color theming going on. I love that the house kind of matches the book stack to the right. That is so cute. And then the shops are here, pretty much right behind resident services. but they still do have this little lounge area in front, which I think is stunning. It's like a mini cafe area. And then Able Sisters, and as we're moving to the left, there is another resident home, another human home, and this one is pink, a little bit girlier, you could say. And now moving to the left side of the island, you can see how the space is filled and decorated. We have sort of different thematic decoration areas. So like here is some bamboo decor, then we have a hybrid garden here that's taking up this space. Of course, the use of bridges and waterscaping, I personally love using those to fill space on my island. Then we've got this beautiful courtyard, which has bridges heading off in every direction. I'm going to continue to the left. Here's another little hybrid garden too, absolutely stunning. Also a great idea if you have a lot of flowers that you don't know what to do with. Here is a little stone decor area. It also serves as a rock garden. All the island rocks are here. This is so cute. It kind of just feels like I'm walking through a really big park. It's so lovely. Maybe a botanical garden. And I do really love seeing all the different themed areas with different types of furniture. Here's another little courtyard, but with a different sort of theme, and this time only pathways lead away from the main area, no bridges. And look at this, a little ruined area. Another just brilliant idea for using furniture you might not pull out otherwise. Having these different themed areas, it just gives you a chance to really experiment with your island decor. I think this is a lovely idea. What a cool concept, and every area is filled so beautifully. Everything has just a stellar and cohesive design while still having these different vibes and themes. It's so impressive. Here is the campsite, by the way, with its own little area, very natural, very rustic. And then this creator is also just a legend about grand museum entrances. This one is stunning. So yeah, just a really creative and varied way to fill your island with all kinds of different items, colors, and themes. It looks amazing. And here is that island map one more time for your appreciation. I was dumbstruck when I saw this, just mouth open, jaw on the floor. This is so cool. I can already tell this island is going to be a doozy. Look at these beautiful custom designs. Before I get too carried away, here is the island map, which intrigued me right off of the bat because I love seeing little spots of land and water, but I thought this was a good island to showcase a sort of more balanced way to place your buildings. So they're not necessarily super sprawled out. The buildings are still fairly close together, especially the villager homes, but they're a little bit spaced out, more so at least than the last island we visited, where the neighborhood was very compact, very put together. This one shows a little bit more of a sprawl, and I think it's cool to see this, you know, greater balance between terraforming and decor, and then little building areas. Just walking around, there is so much open space on this island, so much gorgeous nature decor. And over here to the right is the campsite, and then immediately behind it I think is a villager home, if I remember correctly. Yes, a villager home. Again, loving this water custom design. This island has such a beautiful tropical vibe. Then you go down here and there's access to more of the houses. Here's Tangy walking around, a little cutie. I believe this is her house too, based on both the color of the house and the fact that it has an orange theme around it. This is the kind of thing I really want for Lotus Reef, you know? That's why we need Tangy on the island. A Beware of Fairies sign, which is always so cute to me. Back here is Nook's Cranny, which is pretty conveniently placed for the villagers, right behind their sprawling little neighborhood area. Again, there's not like a cohesive, set up, organized neighborhood, but the houses are still fairly close together. You also get opportunities with the sprawled out situation where you see areas like this that are just natural and beautiful, just, you know, plant life. Going across this bridge, look at this stunning little home area. It's just so cute. I love the way all of the buildings look, and I like that thematically they're kind of aligned. The different colors and everything kind of spread out to each of the houses. They've got some linking objects. There are nova lights, flamingos around. So the houses feel a little bit more together as opposed to each having distinctive yards. They're just kind of along the pathway, you know? And also, like I said, one of the things I noticed first was all the little spots of land in the water, and I think it is beautiful to see as you're walking around the island. Look at all these little mini islands, the flowers on the water. It's just a really neat way to level up your water terraforming. Look at this gorgeous area back here for the moon. Hello, this island feels like walking through a tropical fairy tale. Also, check out this beautiful terraforming overlook. Again, looking at the little islands in the water, this is beautiful. And I believe this is the way to go and see the museum. Yeah, linking over here to the museum area. It's very grand, not in like an elegant way like we've seen before, but in a more natural way. These waterfalls, the terraforming leading up to it, and then again, just a stunning overview, a little overlook as you're walking through here. I could get lost on this island forever, but let's take one last look at the map. Just stunning. I love all of the waterscaping especially, but you could see how this looked really incredible as you were walking around too, and thanks to a little bit of sprawl, there were really large areas of just nature and natural decor that looked really lovely. Before we get into the last island of the day, thank you so much to my channel members. I am so grateful to you all for choosing to support my journey as a content creator. It really does mean the world to me and helps me continue to do this. If you're not already a member and you'd like to become one, you can check out the perks here and the link is in the description. Last but certainly not least, we have this gorgeous island, which give me a second and I will open the map for you. I just went on like a hop adventure. Here is this island's map, and again, I love seeing I just love seeing little spots of pathing around. I think it looks so cute. It's like little sprinkles on the island. So that's what immediately caught my eye, but I also thought this island was a brilliant example of a fully sprawled out island. So like I said, the last one is kind of a good balance between sprawled and put together like compact. These buildings are all over the map. They are definitely sprawled out, and there's still plenty of room for big areas of terraforming like you see in the middle of the map. So let's go and explore this island. I love my little pieces of land and water, so obviously the entrance is one of my favorites. And as you walk around, you kind of see these areas for resting and everything, and the path kind of guides you along, so I'm just following it around. Oh my gosh, we have a little pride couch. Happy Pride Month, besties. Pride couch circa IKEA a few years ago. Here is our first little villager home. Super pretty. Definitely matches the vibes. Then we've got a land bridge, which is super cool. Again, tons of room for terraforming and design when you have buildings sprawled out like this. And it kind of gives you the opportunity to either give them their own distinctive yards. Like I'd say this one has its own pretty defined area here on the cliff, but you can also just integrate the buildings into whatever the area already looks like. So I think the sprawled out method works pretty well if you want to have, different vibes for your houses. Some of them having distinctive yards, some of them just kind of fitting into the setting around them. Here is the resident representative home, also very beautiful. I also appreciate how vibrant this island is. We've seen plenty of color already. It's just stunning. And this villager has their own little space bordering this cafe area onto the secret beach. These houses down here kind of feel like they're in a rainforest based on all the lushness, the trees, the simplicity of this quote-unquote yard. It has its own little pond and everything. These areas feel more natural and, like I said, kind of feel like they're integrated into the build that is already here, as opposed to having a distinctive like classic yard. We've also got this enormous, very cool lazy river, which I think is super pretty. All the little pool floaties around too are so cute. And up here is the museum. I think this is the first one we've seen today that is still Blather's tent, and he has his own little study area out here. Love the choice of this colorful fence for outside his tent. I feel like I usually go for neutrals, and maybe that's holding me back. I think there's also like flower breeding happening back here. That's so cute, bro. Oh my gosh, I miss when the community was obsessed with flower breeding. So yeah, I hope you were able to appreciate all of these buildings just really spread out but still beautifully designed. Plenty of space for terraforming and decor as well, but something about it is just so enchanting, and I love this lazy river especially. Oh, there's a little mini golf area. This is just so cute. Look at the greens. Oh, I went putt-putting for the first time with my boyfriend Drew, and honestly, I'm a pro. Don't ask him though. Don't ask him how I did. Here is one last look at that absolutely brilliant map. And remember, you can see all of these creators and their dream addresses in the description below. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you're feeling inspired to get started on your island or to get finished with it. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.